G'day viewers, end of another week.
G'day viewers, end of another week. I've got holes in.
Yeah, it's like... What's that colour's our background, Daisy?
It's that one that's not red. Oh, come on, I know this one. That's the trouble. Every week I do this.
I know. Blue background, blue t-shirt, but we thought Daisy'd look good with holes in him anyway.
I know, because it's traditional.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, there's holes in various...
In bits.
Bits.
You know, it happens all the time.
It's a metaphor is what we're saying.
That's right, that's right.
And speaking of people with holes in,
yeah,
our federal government.
Yay!
Oh, the gift that keeps on giving.
Thank you, federal government, for making comedy writers' lives so much easier.
Oh, what a pack of fuckwits. See, recently they did this thing where it's gone, okay, so we've cut things that would have put an excise on polluters and miners, people who are just ripping billions of dollars out of the country. So, who should we hit? Probably the poorest people.
Yeah,
that'll go well.
The poorest people, because they've got fuck all.
Yeah, so they won't miss it because they never had much anyway.
No, they'll be fine with it. They'll be cool with it. They'll be okay with it. Oh, hang on.
So, pretty much everything they've tried to do, they appear to be surprised at the backlash they get. Recently they said, okay, a lot of doctors have what we call bulk billing in Australia. There's a rebate so that a doctor doesn't have to charge patients. Everyone who earns a wage pays a levy to cover this sort of cost. And so the poorest people can afford to go to the doctor because they don't have to pay. It's what's called bulk billed. And they said, oh, you know what? None of that. Let's charge. There'll be like this minimum charge of $7 to go see the doctor.
That's right. We'll charge the bloody poorest of the poor $7, and even if they have to go like 8 times next week, like someone that's not very far away from Angry right now, he'll be right. He'll pay bloody $7 a time because he's got fuck all. So that'll be fine. And if he's old and stupid and bloody tarded, like someone not very far away from Angry right now and possibly likes boy sex. But anyway, look, they'll be good. They'll love it. Fuck, they'll love it. They only smoke bloody beer and cigarettes with that bloody cars that they drive around with bloody hoons, and they should be shot anyway. Hang on, am I going too far? Let me smoke a stogie as I bloody get the budget together.
That's the thing. They were tone deaf, not just in they thought they'd get away with fucking people over, but every response they've made. And they're surprised. It's not just the poor people, because they're a minority, but the not poor people who aren't complete assholes said,
hang on
not
a
good.
fucking minute. That's fucking shit. Stop doing that. Stop fucking the poor.
So they've thrown that out because it was so universally unpopular. Okay, we won't do the $7. No. So what they do, only a couple weeks later, Tone's abs goes, he goes, hey, you know what? What I'm going to do is take away the rebate from the doctor. We're not going to make the patient pay. We're going to take money from the doctor's rebate. So in other words, the doctor would have no choice but to charge the patient to cover the rebates gone. But the government would say, well, we didn't make him do it.
We didn't do it. We're good. Big boy did it and ran away, which is a fucking theme of this government.
So it was basically going to cost $20. Everyone rejected $7, but he said, hey, I've got a better idea. $20.
20. A lobster. We'll give him a lobster. That'll bloody sort him out.
And I swear to God, this policy lasted about 48 hours.
Brilliant.
It's like the people in the Senate said they were going to block it. It got slammed by the public, and they seem surprised.
They really do. The Australian Chamber of Commerce, which is a very right-wing organisation, also bizarrely enough, has its one of its key things is don't fuck with Medicare, the massive health program. Because what happens is the Australian worker, as he's healthier, as she is healthier, they're more productive for free.
So the corporations make more money because everyone's healthier and goes to work more often.
And so every time the government fucks with the healthcare system, the bloody Chamber of Commerce goes, stop doing that or I will hit you on the dick again, you twat.
So, yeah, people have been calling this government like the Nadia Comaneci because they're so adept at backflips. And now they've got a bit of a time record for, I think it was less than 48 hours from announcement to retraction. And one of the best comments I saw on Twitter saying, like, people saying, oh, this government's like a circus. Someone said, no, this government is not like a circus. A circus is full of trained professionals who are very adept at giving the public what they want. No relationship whatsoever to this government.
No. Fail. Again.
And hey, going from the whole government to a fringe character. There's a guy in Australia called Fred Nile.
You'll
Reverend
love him.
Fred
You'll
Nile.
love the shit out of this guy.
He's been what I would call a cancerous poison in politics for about 3 decades.
I think that's a bit harsh, buddy. I think that's a bit harsh. I think he's been a cancerous, poisonous boil that will not be squeezed. You know a ducker? You go and squeeze it and it keeps on ducking under. Yeah, he's a ducker. And then every now and again he oozes, when he comes out and oozes every 6 months or so, he oozes some shit onto the Australian public and we've got to wipe it up with the chucks.
He spawned out of a movement that came from the UK called the Festival of Light. And he managed to get himself elected to the Senate in New South Wales, like way back in the 80s.
Yeah, way back.
And he's been there ever since. His wife's been in there. He's had other members of his party. They call themselves the Christian Democrats. And currently, because of the ridiculous fucking legislative setup in Australia, in New South Wales, he and some other wacky independents have the balance of power in the Senate in New South Wales.
So you can't get anything through until Mr. Christian and Mr. Other Wacky Guy who likes guns and scat shows. I don't know that. I'm just making that up. By the way, that was speculation on my part.
It was speculation, possibly informed, possibly spurious. But what we're saying is...
Who knows?
What we're saying, much like Fox News says,
Much
people are saying it.
People are saying.
People are saying it.
People are saying
I have heard people say it.
People have said it.
So we're just reporting that it's been said.
It's been said.
It's been said that the Shooters Party likes
Scat shows.
scat shows. Because it makes sense
Oh,
that
it
people
does.
have said it.
It does. It's meaningful.
So anyway, aside from his normal fuckery of being homophobic, hating anyone who's not white, Christian, man, woman, married, if there's any aberration at all, he wants to fucking control your life. He represents maybe 1% of the population. But
maybe
wants to
one.
tell everything. This is the problem with religious fucking zealots, thinking they can tell people what to do. It doesn't matter if you're Muslim or a hyper-Orthodox Jew in Israel or a nutbag Christian in Australia or America or England. It's fucked and it's wrong. Have your beliefs, you beaut.
Yay.
It's fucked as soon as you try and force them on someone else. Okay?
Oh, no, I like burning faggots. It's funny.
Yes, and that's one of Fred's big things. But he got up in people's nose. I found myself in the truly bizarre situation.
Which you got to understand, for me, viewers, was fucking hilarious, right? Because this is the guy that will fucking heap shit on fucking children who've just, dropped their ice cream. What a fucking loser. And then he goes on for like 10 minutes, right? Fucking hilarious. And then this guy has taken Fred Nile and gone, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, it was slightly odd. I was kind of sort of defending him because what happened? He's been saying there's the recent awful situation in Sydney's Martin Place where hostages were taken and a couple of people were killed. And now Tony Abbott, in an attempt to milk it for all it's worth, is giving everyone bravery awards. And Fred Nile has said this is not really warranted. And then he's made it this ridiculous old school sexist thing about, but the men ran away and left women behind. Men are supposed to take care of women. How about get fucked?
For a start.
But what he said, I think it was just this morning on one of the morning shows, he said, this quote unquote, he said, the only man there was the man with the gun. And a lot of people lost their fucking minds when he said that.
For example, I.
Yeah, because he's saying the gunman, the terrorist, the hostage taker, was the man there. Now, he said afterwards he misspoke. He meant to call that guy a coward. He meant to say the cafe manager, Tory Johnson, who was killed, according to reports, trying to wrestle the gun from the gunman. That's who he meant to say. And I thought that was plausible. I thought the people who were jumping all over him were kind of talking shit and going for cheap political point scoring. I said, okay,
can we just pause here for 2 seconds before Angry goes off on his very justified rant and just point out that poofs can't fight, they can't defend, they aren't in your armies, they aren't in your police forces, they won't do anything to help anyone else, or maybe they have done that for fucking the history of history and will do for fucking ever. But let's just let that go because they're poofs. Please.
Okay, so I was saying, I think people are just going for cheap point scoring. He could not possibly have meant the gunman was the only man. That he must have misspoke. And then I watched the video.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to link to it down below, okay? Because when you watch the video, see, if you misspeak, if you say the wrong thing, I expect you stumble a bit and then you go back and correct yourself or whatever. But he just says directly with no hesitation, and he even does this little movement. He says, the only man was the man with the gun. Doesn't stumble, doesn't correct himself. He just makes the statement. I still hope he meant to say the other thing. His only plausible explanation, and this is not even a joke, his only plausible explanation is senile dementia.
Yeah.
He needs to go for, I do not have the mental faculties to be on a live show without saying the wrong thing.
Yep.
I said literally the opposite of what I meant to say.
Yep.
And I did not even catch that I said the most fucked thing I could have said. I desperately, even someone I despise and have despised for decades, I hope he didn't mean to say that. I mean, watch the video and see what you think, because he just fucking says it. I'm going with senile dementia because the alternative's just too horrible.
The alternative is pretty fucking rank, and we've seen a lot of that in politics lately.
Yeah. So, while Fred Nile may or may not be applauding terrorists, hey, speak a look, but some serious wrongdoing, worse than Hitler stuff.
Yes.
In Australia,
Yes.
okay, a little bit of a lead in actually. Australia Day is coming up, Australia's National Day, and fucking Tony Abbott and his fuckwits have just been, we're gonna have gunships in the harbour, and they actually said this is the most un-Australian thing I have ever fucking heard. On noon, we want everyone in Australia to stand up and say, sing the national anthem together. And I think I actually heard the echoing, get fucked. That is bizarre. Okay, if you're an American, you might not understand because you like singing the anthem at football games and any excuse.
And it makes sense culturally, right? It makes sense culturally. We understand that and fucking we applaud that. But in Australia, no.
But culturally, the government mandating and saying everyone in Australia at the same time should stand up, and that's the most un-Australian thing I can fucking think of.
You know, look, you gotta understand, this country was set up, right, by a lot of black fellas who were very, very happy here for about 50,000 years. Then they had some visitors who would not fuck off, and they're still here.
Fucking boat people.
Boat people, man. Turn the boats back. Anyway, maybe they should have used that slogan back in 1780.
These people won't respect our culture. No. They'll ruin everything.
Fuck, true story.
Put them back on the boats and send them back where they came from.
If it's safe,
but they're going to be persecuted back in England. That's their fucking problem. They'll probably die. Fuck them.
Anyway, back when they turned up, 1788, they fucking rocked up. Basically, these people were thieves, pickpockets, fraudsters. They were criminals of lots of different shapes and colours, mostly Irish. Lots of Cockney warriors in there, and they turned up to this place that was very difficult for them to live in because they didn't know shit from clay about how to make it go. And they finally, with a little bit of negotiation with the blackfellas, finally got a foothold in there and finally worked out that if you can dodge the disasters and the animals and the sea and the air and the sun that's trying to kill you on a regular basis, you can kind of live here and it's kind of cool.
Yeah. And that's kind of what, when you say, are you proud to be an Australian? Aside from the utter fuckwits, most people go, well, I like it. It's good.
It's good, yeah.
It's good.
It's fun, yeah.
But seriously, I think this telling people this again, even the flag cape wearing fuckwits are going to stop and go, fuck off.
Mate.
No, this is just tone fucking deaf. This is bizarre. But the big thing for Australia Day, if you're a lover of interesting music, is Triple J's Hottest 100. Been going for about 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Little backgrounder. The Triple J is a government-funded, youth-oriented network. Used to just be in Sydney, now it's Australia-wide. I wish we had this when I was a kid.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Because I was stuck in a country fucking town.
As was I. The capital city of Australia was a country town.
Which was a country town.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but I was way out in the bush, and you had one fucking AM station that fucking played shit top 40 music and country and western.
And the races.
Oh, Jesus, it was fucking awful.
It was terrible.
And look, Triple J has a lot of faults, a lot of flaws, but it's a fucking brilliant service, and in many ways, literally a lifesaver for isolated young people.
Absolutely. And another beautiful thing is when they set it up, the government said this is going to be an arm's length thing. They basically wrote in fucking legalese and said the government's never allowed to tell you what to do. We have to fund you, but we're never allowed to tell you what to do. Triple J, you must criticise us. And Triple J's gone, fuck yes, we're all over that.
But about 2 decades ago, they invented an annual poll they called the Hottest 100. And everyone gets to vote in it, vote for the songs they played in the last year, what was your favourites, and it started like a snowball, and it's huge. And
we sell more Hottest 100 CDs overseas than we do in the country.
It's a pretty good compilation. It's a cross section, and it's interesting. You can often look at that and say you can identify possibly what Triple J should play more of, because it tends to be dominated by white boy guitar bands.
Pretty much, yeah.
Last couple of years, certainly the last decade, they've tried and they have improved the diversity of what they play in every sense of the word. Mm-hmm. But generally, apart from community stations, but you compare it to the commercial stations, there's way more diversity, way more interesting music, and the Hottest 100. And I get, I said to someone the other day, I always get the CD just so I know what the young people are listening to.
Those young people with their musics, you don't know, because they could be doing anything behind your back with their musics, with their fucking little things in their ears. You know, they don't even use an iPod anymore. It's phones now, and those bloody computers on the lick. You know what I'm saying? Where's my jelly?
Of course, I had cheeky bastards when I mentioned I buy CDs. They went, CDs? I went, get fucked! I'm old, okay? I'm fucking old.
Fuck you.
I remember when CDs were newfangled, you bastards!
I remember when they were black and flat and had scratches on them.
Exactly, so shut up! It was like, we're not vinyl hipsters, we just actually had no alternative.
There wasn't anything else. And they sucked.
Yeah, so the Hottest 100 is a big deal, but it's what you could loosely call like alternative music. Out of the blue, this was apparently started by the BuzzFeed website. I don't know, for shits and giggles, they said, let's get Taylor Swift in the Hottest 100. Because Taylor Swift is the most un-Triple J thing, like factory-produced pop, which is not completely alien, but it's mostly alien. And I think it's safe to say Taylor Swift has never been played on Triple J. Certainly, her particular hit song, Shake It Off, was never played on Triple J. And it started off as a joke, and I don't know, it just caught people's trollish imagination.
This is the same sort of shit that happens in Australia. Every 4 years they have a census, and every 4 years they say, you are not allowed to put Jedi as your religion.
We don't care how many of you write it, we're not going to recognise it as a religion, okay?
And they do it every time, right?
So, yeah, it's like people have shits and giggles. And this has just exploded. It's sort of it's exponential. Started off slowly and just went for too much. And now it's getting close to even money. People are thinking she might get the top spot. Okay, troll humour. We all like it. But some people have lost their fucking minds over it.
Just complete shit in a bucket thrown over the eyes loss. This is treeless, breadless, gone.
Like, these guys, and they are guys who are doing it, it's like they haven't heard about the marketplace. They haven't heard about the Paris killing. They haven't heard about Boko Haram killing 2,000 people. They've heard that someone wants Taylor Swift in the Hottest 100, and it's the worst thing ever. And I am not exaggerating. These people are acting like it's the fucking apocalypse. And you look at them and you go, how fucking easy is your life that this works you up? What would you be like if you had actual fucking problems to deal with? It's just like, this is it. You are going to get worked up over this. It's like a fucking joke. And honestly, it has highlighted the flaw in popular votes. It can be subverted. And while, look, they go, this top 40 shit. Previous winners have been major worldwide hits. Bloody what's his name, with the thrift shop just the other year, Macklemore. That was a huge hit, and it was the number one. Going back further, there was Pretty Fly for a White Guy.
Yep.
That was number one. It was big commercial song. There's even one year was like the novelty song, Dennis Leary's Asshole was number one.
Yep.
So the precedent for very mainstream hits is there. The difference is this: if this goes in, it will be the first time a song they've never actually played went in. And it'd be the first time that someone was doing it for a joke. I mean, the Taylor Swift fans, I think, have jumped on, but they're honestly, I think they're this much of it.
Tiny proportion.
And the people taking the piss are like, yeah. And so it's the first time they've had what I would call bad faith actors voting in it.
Really?
But it highlights the problem with voting.
Yeah.
You can get a fucked result.
You really can.
It's just like, and you look around various things. I remember, oh wow, it's like almost 20 years ago. It was back in the 90s. People magazine doing their most beautiful person. The first time this is the late 90s, it's like, ooh, let's have votes on the internet. The public, it's new and happening.
Yeah.
And it ended up, Howard Stern said, one of my sidekicks, Hank the Angry Drunken Dwarf, should get voted in. And he won the popular vote by a landslide. Because Howard's, and everyone thought, yeah, you know, it's somewhere between a joke and I think Hank has inner beauty.
He does have inner beauty.
He was a special man.
He was a special man. He was drunken and he did die.
And he was angry. He actually, sadly, it was only about 2 years after that he died. He was only 39 when he died. So I think he wasn't taking the best care of his health.
No,
You know,
no, turns out.
So, but he won by a fucking landslide. Like, that was Leo DiCaprio's year. That was the year Titanic came out. He was expected to go, I think, like, you know, Hank had somewhere between 5 and 10 times more votes than Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
And so this sort of trolling is not without precedent. And this is the problem. With a popular vote, it can be subverted. And even just looking, if anyone can vote, look at the sort of fuckwits that are around you, and anything can happen. And you let anyone vote, you can get a bad result. Just look at our government.